Well, it is an amazing busy day here in Yellowknife with the puppies and all of those things that are going on in my life. And I thought we'd have a bit of a discussion today. I was in the gaming store yesterday, and there's two things I want to cover today. And the first being, I went to the local gaming store, and surprisingly, it was fairly busy. And our local store is okay, but I wouldn't say it's one of the best stores in Canada. But it is good, and I'm glad that we have the store here because it's great to be able to make some purchases and support our local businesses when we can. So that is important. It's part of our community. So I certainly encourage everybody that lives in the north to come to Ogre's Lair when they are in Yellowknife and support James. As you know, it is very expensive to have stores here in Yellowknife, and we are very lucky to have a store here. And so, but that's not the point of what we're trying to get to. What I was trying to get to is I was amazed that the generational gap in that store was great. Not gap so much as the generations of people that I saw in there was amazing to me. I walk in, and I'm one of the older gamers. I am north of 60 gaming. You can see it right there, north of 60 gaming. That's twofold there, of course, because I'm north of 60 living in Yellowknife, and I'm north of 60 because I'm just that old. So I'm about the oldest in the store, and I'm looking around, and there was this nice sort of 30s couple, and I'm hearing behind him the same things I hear with my wife. She's going, well, can you really afford that game? It's $180 and it takes 2 days to play. Do you really want that? Do you really need that in your collection? And I'm laughing, and they're looking at me like, what's so funny? I said, I just had that discussion with my wife. And they both laughed, and we had a conversation about games, and I think they finally settled on Orleans or Jaws of the Lion. We were talking to him about that. I said, if you're really looking for a nice game that's not very expensive, I said, check out Jaws of the Lion. And I think they bought that in Orleans. Two really good games. So I hear about Orleans. I have not played it. It's not in my collection. I think there is a solo mode, but I'm not a Eurocentric player. Most of my games are Cthulhu or deck builders or just light solo games because I don't have tons of time in my life to play. So games have to be under 2 hours. And in fact, 60 to 90 minutes is a sweet spot for a solo game. With that being said, and then I turn around and there's a mother, and must be maybe a 10 or 11-year-old young lady, and she's flittering around the store like, oh, look at this, Mom. And she's carrying around a D&D book. And I'm going like, yeah. And I turn around to Mom and say, really, you're going to start them young? She goes, oh, yeah, she knows her way around games. And I'm like, this is fantastic to see as a content creator that we are starting our kids in board games. And the popularity of board games is transcending the generational gap from very, very young children, in that 8-9 range. And I was in the store a couple weeks ago, and I saw a bunch of, I'd say 10, 11, 12-year-olds playing D&D. There were 4 or 5 of them playing around at a table, and it was like amazing to see that they are playing these games that I played early when I was young and when I was that age or a little bit older. And we were the nerds. We were the shunned people. Nobody played with us. We weren't into sports. Well, I was. I actually was on the wrestling team and the football team and the rugby team. I was weird. But of course, I wasn't really a nerd because I wasn't smart enough. And believe me, the real nerds and geeks in our class, one is a cardiologist and went on to be a cardiologist. So I was lucky to be allowed to be even in their presence. And I enjoyed those intelligent kids back in the day. And I also hung out with the not so cool kids and the jocks, because I was a sort of a jock, nerd, not cool kid. And we'll never go into my dating life because basically I couldn't get a date. And I'll tell you some stories at some point or another, but let's not air the dirty laundry all today. So, so I'm just saying that, I mean, we need, as a content creator, as publishers, designers, and anybody else that's in this industry, let's encourage this generational. Let's get these kids in. Let's get the young people in. Let's get the middle-aged people in. Let's get us old folks in to a really fun, great hobby. And I really enjoyed the hobby. I fell out of the hobby when I got into my first marriage. Carried my games around for 20 years, finally got rid of them, sold them for the most part, and gave them away to a collector. They found a good home, the ones I couldn't sell because I just couldn't carry them around anymore. And that was back in 2005, 2006. I didn't know I was going to get back into games. I didn't know I was going to be a content creator. Some of those games are like I think the one I had is worth like $800, $900 now. I could cry, but of course, hindsight is 20/20. Moving on. Second issue today. Now, for those who are fans of Paul Grogan, and he is Mr. Nice Guy, and he sat down in his last vlog and he announced that, due to pressures and anxiety and things like that, he decided to retire from editing books. Now, first off, I'm going to say that's a shame, because anytime I've read his books or his rule books, or from his team or himself, they are amazing. He really knows how to get a game onto the table and teach how a game is played, either through the rules or through his channel. And sometimes it's just fun to watch him struggle through a game when he pulls it out and says, let's play this game and I'm going to figure it out in front of you. And the Nemo's War was the most entertaining 4.5 hours I spent as he struggled through Nemo's War like we all did. And one of the things that really struck me was when he being upfront and being honest about anxiety and how it made him feel and the pressures of what he does and working and the long hours and the sacrifices in his personal life and his health made him have to say, I'm going to take a step back. And that is very brave, because all of a sudden you're retired, and I know I'm facing this very dilemma coming up. Now, I've had my anxiety done about 2 years ago. I understand what Paul was going through. Slightly different. I had to take time off work to reevaluate what I was doing in my life and to see a way forward. Because I am getting older, and, the sudden realization of, well, there's more back there than this way, and it's scary. I'm not quite 65. That's coming. My friends are all turning 65, and I'm catching up slowly. And we were just joking about that this morning with one of my friends who just turned 50 and turned 65. And I said, I can't believe that not only are you 65, that we've been friends for 50 years. And I have friends that are even longer than that. My longest running friend is almost 60 years. So I've known this gentleman since kindergarten. So, wow, I'm still hanging around. We don't hang around. We contact each other because he's thousands of kilometers away. But we still follow, and we met up a few years ago, and it was amazing. My wife just said afterwards, she says, you guys just took up the conversation and just like you never missed a beat. And I said, we were best friends. I mean, we lived at each other's homes, basically. So, going back to that, rambling on, I want to know that if in this industry or if you ever feel anxiety and you need to talk, don't go alone at this. Talk to friends. Talk to a doctor. Talk to somebody. There are ways of getting out of this. I mean, I had to reevaluate it. Took a couple months, but that's okay. Sometimes you've got to take that step back. During that time, I started my content creation channel. Well, when you start focusing your energy into something as significant as this, and I looked at it and said, I don't care if I have 2,000 subscribers or 200 subscribers. It's fun for me. It focuses energy. It gets the mind working. I don't have time to dwell on, there's bad things are happening. And the bad things happening all around us. Fortunately, it has settled down in my life. I am now planning for my retirement, and things are coming up and moving quickly towards that. We're starting to evaluate how much longer are we going to stay in the North? Where are we going to go? What am I going to do? I'm probably going to consult for 3 to 6 months out of the year so I can get my income and then take time off. I do love to travel, so I do want to maintain a certain income level for a while yet, so that I can continue to travel. I'd love to be able to travel a month or two out of every year. And we'll see how that goes, because the meager Canadian pension and my government pension, because I haven't been with the government that long, is not going to be that big. And, unless I want to live in a cardboard box in Stanley Park. And for those who don't know Stanley Park, it is in Vancouver. It is a beautiful park, and it's about the only place I live because it's pretty warm there in Vancouver. I mean, it gets cool, but not cool like Yellowknife. So, get help. There are call numbers. Both Canada and the U.S. have those numbers. Talk to your friends. Focus your energy into positive things in your life, such as content creation, board gaming, your children, your wives, your spouses, and talk to them. Say, how I feel. I know I'm a guy. Feelings don't come easy. But my wife and I have a good relationship, and I can say, well, I feel this way. And she understands, and she doesn't belittle it. I mean, I will tell you a quick story about that. And the quick story is I went into my boss last year and said, look, I can't come back to the office. And these are a bunch of reasons why. And he said, oh, it's COVID. You can't add this in front of COVID. I said, well, it's known. I said, I've been being treated from the doctor for the last year. Oh, I don't care. From my perspective, you're healthy. I said, no, I am not. And then we argued and said, okay, fine, we'll do the HR thing and get it all in a nice bundle. And I did. Now, that was his right to, make sure that it's nice and it's all HR and everybody understands what's going on and get the prognoses. But the lack of sympathy from a leader in my own business left me so much anxiety. And when I get anxiety, the only thing I can do is pull the blankets over my head and go to sleep for about an hour or two, just to let it pass, because anxiety manifests into physical reactions. I got the doctor's notes, took it back in, tickety-boo, I work from home now, never going back into the office. I have a great relationship with my boss, my manager, who I report to. She's perfectly happy to leave me at home because she understands, because she says if I come back to the office, she knows full well that chances are within a month or two, I'm going to be out. And if I go out the next time, I'm gone till I retire, and I'm just going to take long-term disability. And I like working. I love my clients. Moving fast forward a year, and excuse this, but karma is a bitch. The gentleman who did that to me was basically now on disability leave for stress and anxiety. He had far worse than I did. He had chest pains, and if you've had anxiety, you can get a tightness of chest. And he went into the hospital. It turned out to be really high blood pressure and the whole thing, and he had to take off work, and he's still off work. Karma's a bitch. His lack of empathy caused me anxiety. And then now I sent him a note and I said, well, I'm sorry that this happened to you. I know what you're going through. You can talk to me if you like. And I'm here for you because I understand what you're going through. And I hope what you are going through helps you understand what I went through. Now, I will tell you, I work in a toxic workplace. It is by very definition the toxic workplace, but I'm out of it now. All I do is do what I'm asked to do, and I serve my clients at work, and I'm as happy as I can be at work now, that march road closer and closer every month towards my retirement. And let's face it, I'm about 10 months away. I may stay because I really like my clients, may stay a little longer because I am working on a very great project. I want to leave on a really good high and leave something at my workplace, to a department, and a project that is going to last for 20 years, far beyond when I'm going to be probably dead and dust. And so if I do one good thing in that workplace, I am going to do that before I retire. And so if I have to spend another year and a bit rather than the 10 months, I'm good with that. But just to conclude everything, if you suffer from anxiety, if you feel the pressures of life, you are the only one that can do something about it. Talk to your spouse, talk to your parents, talk to your doctor. Call the hotline numbers that are available to you, usually in your city, your province, your state, your government. Call somebody. Get the help you need to get well. You can deal with it. It is not easy, but you can deal with it. And that is all I'm going to say about this. My name is Harry Jacobs. I am the North of 60 Gamer. This is a bit of a strange topic for the North of 60 Gaming channel, but I felt that it was important to get that out there and how I feel about that topic as having suffering from anxiety and stress myself. Now, I'm not saying I'm stress-free, and I'm going to go hit the elliptical in about 2 minutes. However, if you like what you've seen, please hit the like. Subscribe, please, if you want to hear more ramblings and rantings. Please, if you want to watch me unbox and play games, subscribe. Subscribing is the only way I know that I'm doing something good for you. I'm not asking for money. I don't have Patreon. I don't get paid for what I do. I just do it for the sheer joy and my community, my northern community, and my world community. You're all my friends. Whether we've met or not, you're all my friends. You're coming into my house when you view me, and therefore we have a connection of some sort. So if I can help you, contact me. Find me on one of my Facebook channels. If you're a board gamer, you know where to find me. And I'm on Board Game Revolution, which has got 40,000. If you're one of those 40,000 and you need help, reach out to me. I will talk to you. I promise. So have a great gaming week, folks. I really appreciate you listening to me. And we are out of here.